I've spent over 3 decades working alongside cardiologists and emergency responders, and I want you to hear this clearly. Most people over 60 don't survive their first heart attack when they're alone. That isn't fear-mongering. It's statistics. Nearly half of all fatal heart attacks happen before the patient ever reaches the hospital. Why? Because they hesitate. They convince themselves it's just indigestion, or stress, or fatigue. They lose precious minutes, the difference between recovery and tragedy. But here's the hopeful truth. There are simple science-backed actions anyone can perform that can dramatically improve their chance of survival, even when no one else is around. Not myths, not rumors. Real medically reviewed steps every senior should memorize, because one day they might save your life or the life of someone you love. So stay with me until the end. You're about to learn 7 emergency habits that can double your odds of surviving a heart attack when you're alone. And tip number 3 is one that even some doctors forget to mention. It can literally buy your heart more time to recover. 7. Call emergency services immediately. If you feel chest pressure, breathlessness, or sudden nausea, your first reaction might be to rest and see if it passes. That hesitation can be fatal. Cardiologists have a saying, time is muscle. Every minute blood flow is blocked, heart tissue begins to die. The faster you act, the more muscle you save. According to the American Heart Association, people who call emergency services within the first 5 to 10 minutes of symptoms have up to 50% higher survival odds than those who delay. Imagine this. A 68-year-old grandfather feels heavy pressure in his chest while watching TV. He waits, hoping it's gas. Hours later, when the pain becomes unbearable, it's too late. Irreversible damage. Now picture the same man calling 911 the moment that pressure began. Paramedics arrive, treatment starts immediately, and he walks out of the hospital within days. Never wait, never second guess. If you think it might be a heart attack, act as if it is, until proven otherwise. Even if it's just indigestion, you've lost nothing. But if it's serious, you've just made the most important decision of your life. Tip number 6, chew an aspirin, but only if approved by your doctor. Once help is on the way, the next step can slow the damage. If you're not allergic and your doctor has said aspirin is safe for you, chew, not swallow, a regular aspirin tablet. Here's why. Heart attacks often happen when a clot blocks blood flow to the heart muscle. Aspirin helps by preventing that clot from growing larger, allowing some blood to keep moving. Chewing the pill makes it absorb faster, within minutes, through the lining of your mouth and stomach. A study in The Lancet showed that taking aspirin at the first signs of a heart attack reduced the risk of death by roughly 1/4. But speed is everything. Keep a small bottle of plain, non-coated aspirin in an easy-to-reach spot at home and in your bag. One retired bus driver told doctors that remembering to chew that single pill while calling 911 kept him alive long enough for the ambulance to arrive. If your doctor has told you to avoid aspirin, skip this step, but everyone else should know it by heart. That single habit can turn panic into purposeful action. 5. Sit upright and loosen tight clothing. It sounds simple, but posture can decide whether your heart stabilizes or collapses under strain. When pain hits, don't lie flat. Sit upright, shoulders relaxed, back supported, and immediately loosen belts, collars, or waistbands that restrict breathing. Here's the science. Lying flat increases pressure on the lungs and forces your heart to pump harder. Sitting upright improves airflow and circulation, easing that burden. A clinical review in the European Heart Journal found that patients positioned upright during cardiac distress experienced fewer breathing complications and better oxygen flow. Picture a 74-year-old woman tending her garden when she feels sudden chest pressure. Instead of panicking or lying down, she moves to a chair, loosens her apron, sits tall, and focuses on slow breaths. Paramedics later tell her that decision likely prevented her from losing consciousness before oxygen could be given. Small details, like posture, can keep you conscious, calm, and alive. 4. Cough forcefully if you feel faint. This one surprises most people. When a heart attack strikes, some victims collapse not because of pain, but because blood flow to the brain suddenly drops. A controlled, deep cough can keep oxygen moving just long enough for help to arrive. Doctors sometimes refer to this as cough CPR. Here's the idea. Every strong cough compresses the chest, building pressure that helps push blood out of the heart toward the brain. It's not a cure, but it can buy you precious seconds. Research in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology showed that patients who coughed firmly every 2 to 3 seconds during cardiac rhythm disturbances maintained consciousness until emergency treatment began. Imagine this. A 69-year-old retired mechanic in Texas feels dizzy and his vision narrows. He starts coughing rhythmically. Deep breath, hard cough, repeat. When paramedics arrive, he's still awake. That steady cough quite literally kept blood moving to his brain. If you ever feel your body going limp or your sight dimming during chest pain, take a deep breath and cough hard, as if clearing your lungs. Repeat every few seconds until help arrives or you regain stability. It's not magic. It's physics keeping your heart in motion. Tip number 3. Unlock your door and keep your phone within reach. In the panic of a heart attack, most people focus on what's happening inside their chest, but what happens outside matters too. Paramedics can't save you if they can't reach you. One of the simplest survival actions is to unlock your front door and keep your phone nearby. Those few seconds can make the difference between being reached in time or being trapped behind a locked door. Studies show that for every 10 minutes of treatment delay, survival drops by almost 10%. A 73-year-old man in Arizona called 911 but collapsed before unlocking his door. By the time rescue crews forced entry, too much time had passed. In contrast, an 80-year-old woman in Florida unlocked hers, stayed seated near the entrance with her phone on speaker, and survived with minor damage. Keep your phone close, ideally in your pocket or on a side table. If you live alone, make it a habit to leave the door latch open once emergency services are on their way. That one detail can save crucial minutes your heart simply doesn't have. Tip number 2. Take slow, deep breaths to lower stress on the heart. Panic is the silent killer during a heart attack. The moment fear takes over, your body floods with adrenaline. Your pulse races, blood pressure spikes, and the heart, already deprived of oxygen, struggles even harder. The antidote is controlled breathing. Deep, deliberate breaths increase oxygen delivery and trigger your body's calming response. A study in the Journal of Cardiopulmonary Rehabilitation and Prevention found that slow diaphragmatic breathing stabilized heart rate and reduced strain even in advanced cardiac patients. Here's how. Place a hand on your abdomen. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, letting your belly rise. Exhale gently through pursed lips for 6. Do this rhythmically, 6 to 8 breaths per minute. A 76-year-old retired nurse from Michigan used this exact method during her heart attack. By the time paramedics arrived, she was still conscious. Her doctor later said those calm, steady breaths probably kept oxygen moving to her brain long enough for treatment to begin. Think of each breath as extra time. Time for oxygen, time for clarity, time for survival. 1. Stay completely still. Your instincts may tell you to stand, walk, or find help. Don't. Movement forces the heart to pump harder, demanding oxygen it no longer has. The single most powerful survival action is stillness. During a heart attack, imagine your heart as an engine running on fumes. Every movement revs that engine closer to failure. Stillness conserves fuel. A study in the European Heart Journal confirmed that minimizing exertion during acute cardiac events reduced complications and improved outcomes. One 71-year-old farmer in Nebraska lived to tell his story because he resisted the urge to climb a ladder for his phone. He stayed where he was, called for help, and survived with minimal damage. Calmness isn't just physical, it's mental. Tell yourself, help is coming. My only job is to stay still and breathe. That mindset keeps adrenaline under control and your body stable until professionals take over. You can't choose when a heart attack strikes, but you can choose how prepared you are when it happens. Remember these 7 steps. Call emergency services immediately. Chew an aspirin if it is safe for you. Sit upright and loosen tight clothing. Cough if you feel faint. Unlock your door and keep your phone close. Take slow, deep breaths. Stay calm and still. Each step buys precious minutes. Each minute can mean the difference between life and loss. A heart attack rarely gives second chances. Act fast, stay focused, and remember, knowledge is your lifeline.